Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio here this morning. We have Andy Kennedy on the phone here in a bit. We've actually already recorded it, so if you're in our live stream, you're not going to get the AK portion without going to the podcast portion. But nonetheless, Andy Kennedy joining us today to talk a good bit of college basketball on the show. So we'll get to that here in a segment or two. Coming up on the podcast, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know about the ribs, the lunch specials, the daiquiris, and next door is the Oxford Crystal. Take advantage of that with your ticket to any game at the Pavilion this season. On the back of it, it's a coupon. Take it by, give it to an employee at the Crystal. You get $1.50 off a sack full or a steamer pack there with the Oxford Crystal. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. No hassle, no haggle. The rest is up to you. You get your quote, and you can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, and that's hop into a Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You'll love the service after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900. Ole
Miss in Seattle tonight, 6:30 from the Pavilion, and trying to think, losing my mind. Rebels 3-0. This is again another game. We're heading into New Jersey next week when Ole Miss will play Penn State in the opening round of that event at the Barclays Center. Also, something we didn't touch on with AK, Terrence Davis, quite the night last night. 16 points on only 7 shots. Getting his minutes up to around 20 or so. It has been a very fast rise for the rookie out of Ole Miss.
He's played great. He I don't know what's wrong with my. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing.
What's it doing?
It shouldn't. No, I see it. Never mind. Terrence has done great. He's a perfect fit there. That's what I told you before we got started. I kind of felt stupid yesterday. I finished with Andy and didn't even ask him about Terrence, and then Terrence has a great game last night. And I know that for AK, that's a source of pride, as it is for Kermit and everybody at Ole Miss that was a part of it. He's just a great fit on that team. It's a real athletic team, and he's getting minutes, and he's getting a lot of quality bench minutes, and he's on his way. I mean, more and more people are buzzing about him night after night. I think he had 16 points last night, a win over Charlotte. I couldn't be happier for him. Terrence, one of the really cool guys that I've ever covered. You know, covered his whole career, and remember covering him at a high school all-star football game. That's kind of when it first started.
We've spent time on this podcast discussing sort of, his NBA potential for years and the way he sort of turned it on there at the end. Going into the season, what did you legitimately expect from him? I mean, what would you have considered a success or at least a competent rookie season?
I didn't expect him to play much. I thought he'd be into the bench, mop up minutes. Thought the key thing for him would be on the practice floor, proving that he belongs. That's a team that has had a lot of success with undrafted guys. And so they're not scared of it. The Raptors aren't. They're not afraid to embrace it. They're not afraid to play him just because he wasn't drafted. And I don't know. He's exceeded my expectations already. It's just November. We're not even to Thanksgiving yet. I mean, the kind of the first pole mark, if you will, in NBA is Christmas Day. We're not really close to that yet. 5 weeks from Christmas or whatnot. So Terrence has a great work ethic. Always has. He plays with a chip on his shoulder in the right sort of way. Had a lot of people tell him, "Hey, man, you can't play in the NBA. You're not a basketball player. You need to play football." And he used that as the proper sort of fuel. And I'll tell you this. I use him as an example with my kids all the time.
Do you really?
I do. I use Terrence Davis all the time because there's so much negativity in just the general world. You can't do this. You can't do that. I say, why? Wish I'd been that way when I was 17, 18. Someone said, you can't. Why not? Why can't you? You're going to have to work. They don't hand it to you. You have to go get it, but you can do it. Terrence Davis is a kid who his goal, and I mean, he really deserves a lot of credit for this. We get hung up on who gets the credit, Andy or Kermit or both or South Haven's coach. Or I think both Andy and Kermit would agree with what I'm about to say. You know who deserves the credit? Terrence. How many people told him, you can't play in the NBA? You're not
You
tall
shouldn't even be
enough.
playing basketball.
Yeah, you should be a wide receiver. You should be a safety. You should go, especially in that junior year when it kind of went squirrely. Oh man, you're wasting your ability. Go play football. And he thought, no, not only that, I'm going to declare for the draft. And he knew when he did it that he wasn't going to play in the NBA that next season. But he said, I need to go. I've got Andy Kennedy all year telling me, you've got to become a better defender. You've got to make up your mind to be a better defender. And he needed to go hear that from NBA people. And that is exactly what they told him. And then serendipity sort of worked out a little bit. Ole Miss hires a guy that is known for his defensive grit as a coach. And to Terrence's everlasting credit, from minute one, he just said, I'm going to buy in.
Yeah. Let's go.
And he took the next step, and he goes to Chicago for the postseason workout in Portsmouth and just played his ass off. And even when the Nuggets were ready to give him a two-way deal, he did what a lot of people thought, man, are you nuts?
Yeah, I know.
And
said no.
No, I'm going to play in the NBA this year. And it worked out. He went into the summer league and lit it up, and the Raptors gave him an opportunity, and he jumped at it, and his minutes are going to increase. I don't know what Toronto's record is right now.
They're actually in fourth place in the East. I looked at this. They're like 9-5 or something like that.
He's going to get to play. I mean, I think he's working his way into their rotation on a team that is led by it. Absolutely.
Right now, he's just a microwave.
Yeah, he just comes in, gives them some points, gives them some energy. He's on a young team with Pascal Siakam, and he's learning from vets like Marc Gasol and Kyle Lowry. And I would suspect that he is, knowing Terrence the way that I know him a little bit, I would suspect that he is being humble and learning from those guys and learning how to become a pro and how to prepare each day. And, I mean, those are world-class pros, Marc Gasol, Kyle Lowry. Pascal Siakam is an absolute rising superstar, MVP caliber player. You can learn a lot from those kind of people, and I think he is. And he's an example. I mean, I do it with my kids all the time. That the running back at LSU, Hilaire.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire.
Everybody told him, man, you're too small. You can't play in the SEC. You can't be a SEC running back. And he said, no, I can. That's what I want to do. It's what I want to do. I'm going to do it. It's there's a lot of life lessons, and frankly, you're
surrounded by these if we'll look for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
get so caught up on the ones that aren't, but they're everywhere. I mean, about the LSU guy, Terrence Davis. I mean, Keyshawn Wells that I wrote about got cut from Kahoma.
Yeah,
Kahoma.
Yeah,
they were 2-28 or whatever. And he goes, no, I'm not done playing football yet.
Yeah.
Not done yet.
I use that as an example too all the time. Don't let people tell you, because people will tell Caroline, oh, you don't worry about this college dance stuff. You know, and I always tell her, why? Go for it. If you don't make it, you don't make it. It's okay. If you don't make it, you don't make it. Be all right.
The worst that's going to happen is the same exact situation you're in now. You're not doing whatever that is.
Yeah, the world's going to keep spinning. Go for it. It's your life. Chet says, so AK gets partial credit. I mean, I'm not getting into the snarky thing with this. I'm just not. I don't know that you mean that to be snarky or not. Yeah, AK gets some credit, sure. AK recruited him and gave him an SEC scholarship to play basketball. Nobody else did. So, yeah, Andy gets some credit, sure. Because I think he was going to end up going to like UT Martin or something to play basketball. But the guy who deserves the most credit is the guy who had to look in the mirror every single day and make the decision to work harder. Terrence.
Athleticism was never a problem. It was learn how to play basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, literally everybody.
Freak athlete.
Everybody, and from best I understand it, at high school and stuff, even though he was playing at AAU and stuff, it was like, man, you really need to think about football.
And then he goes to the Miss Al game and he torches everybody, and he's
Yeah.
probably the best wide receiver in that thing that day, or that week at least.
Yeah. Well, and everybody just does that. We live in this part of the country where it's football, football, football. We're doing this with John Rice Plumlee right now. Like I've got a hot take coming that people aren't going to like, which is, it's his life. If his dream is to play 2 sports, and that's what he wants to do, and he's willing to put the work in, who are we to tell John Rice Plumlee that you shouldn't play baseball? Why? I give the one person who should be able to tell John Rice Plumlee that you can't play baseball, Mike Bianco. If Mike Bianco sits him down and looks at him and says, "Hey, this isn't working. You're not good enough,"
then that's your answer.
Well, then now you have a decision to make. But if Mike Bianco says, "Yeah, we got a spot for you. Here's a glove," I know it doesn't work like that. You bring your own glove, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, actually, they give you a glove.
Okay.
They have Easton contracts.
Here's a glove. Here's a bat.
Yeah.
Here's a uniform. Here's your number.
Yeah. See you at 2:00.
See it too. Okay. Who are we as observers or fans or whatnot to say to him, "Oh, no, you can't do that. No. Why? That's his goal. It's his dream. It's his life. I don't think we own that. That's just me. I don't get it. It was starting to bug me yesterday reading some of the takes. Oh, no, now that he is the quarterback, he really owes it. Owe anybody anything. The deal when he was being recruited was, we'll let you play 2 sports. We'll let you play quarterback.
You're going to play 2 sports unless you start, and then.
Or, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to move you to the slot. No, he said, I want to be a quarterback, and I want to play baseball. Okay, well, if you're willing to put the work in, go for it. You're telling me that John Rice Plumlee missing a couple of spring practices is going to be the ultimate difference in his ability to develop as a passing quarterback? Because I completely don't buy that.
That was the only thing that I thought was newsworthy out of yesterday's media op. Joe Jones probably out, by the way, that too. Knee injury worse than they think. They think he's out for the Egg Bowl. Everybody else should be good to go.
Yeah.
They'd had some preliminary talks, Matt and Mike, during the recruiting process beforehand. They have not revisited that at all. They have no idea what the spring's going to look like right now. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's what both of them said is, I don't know. I think the expectation is for baseball to get him primarily and then work in the other stuff when he can that makes sense for everyone involved.
When does baseball practice begin?
Sometime around January 20th-ish.
So when they come back.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, he goes to baseball.
Yeah, it flips, I think.
I mean,
I think it's one of those flips where then you work in football whenever you can. I mean, I think that's the answer. I think we're overcomplicating this, frankly. Keep asking about it. And
everybody keeps digging on it. Like, there's this big... Mike's got a decision to make because Mike is the head baseball coach at Ole Miss. Mike has to do this thing. I mean, I'm being a smart ass, and I'm not really trying to be. He's got to fill out a lineup card.
Yeah.
Ole Miss opens the season against Louisville.
They do.
So on that Friday afternoon at 4:00, at some point during that day, I mean, I'm being totally serious here. He's got to walk a lineup card to the umpire or have someone do it for him. The umpires require a lineup card, and the names, there will be 9 names on the lineup, and then a pitcher. So Mike has to decide, and I'm sure he'll have some consultation from other people on his coaching staff, but Mike has to decide, okay, what 9 names do I put on this lineup? 10 names.
Yeah.
What 3 outfielders do I send out into the outfield? Ole Miss will begin the season in the field. So someone will play presumably left, someone will play center, and someone will play right. Actual people will run out to those spots and throw a ball around, and then an umpire will say, play ball. And
he'll flip a ball to Nikhazy, and here we go.
Doug Nikhazy will throw the first pitch of the season, and away we go. So John Rice Plumlee will either be in that lineup or he won't be in that lineup. And if he's in that lineup, well, that means, presumably, because I'm going to bet here, knowing Mike a little bit, that Mike doesn't really give a damn about anything but putting out the lineup that gives him the best chance to win. Is that fair?
Probably fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if he's in the field, That means Mike said, this guy can help me. Maybe he's not a fully rounded baseball player. Maybe in an ideal world, I had him all year and whatever. But he can chase it down in center field. And in the lineup that I have, that fits for me. Or maybe Mike says, hey, it's obvious from these last 3 weeks of practice that you're not ready for this.
And see, here's the deal. I think the answer's in the middle. I don't necessarily think he's starting opening day, but I think he's good enough to get into a rotation as the season moves on, and I think he's in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I think we're in the middle.
Where he's kind of a
it's
fourth
definitely a
outfielder.
no. But then,
Right.
I mean, it's going to be really hard to go win a spot in 3 weeks. Not impossible, but hard.
And so at some point, Plumlee has to make a decision on his own that he's at peace with as it pertains to two sports.
Mm-hmm.
But all the people that are like, oh, no, he owes it. Doesn't owe anybody anything. If he wants to play baseball until someone determines that you're not good enough to play. Or that, hey, you know what? This is really time consuming for me to come in the 8th inning as a defensive replacement. And I'm, again, going to base this on kind of following college baseball for a while with people like Mike Bianco. They're going to play the best players. Mike might make coaching mistakes. He might make evaluation mistakes, but over the course of the season, he's going to try to play the people who give him the best chance to win.
Somebody asking about Ely in the live chat. I think Jerry Neely can go be primarily baseball without even a conversation. He does not need the football spring practice reps.
No, frankly.
Frankly, it's treading on the tires. Go play baseball.
Frankly, if I'm a football coach, I'm telling Jerry and Ely, go over there, have some fun.
Yeah. We'll see you later.
Yeah. He has a different type of talent. I mean, I don't want somebody hitting him, rolling up on him.
He's an NFL running back.
He reminds me of some current NFL guys, frankly.
Yeah, I think Ely plays baseball. I think Ely and Plumlee are a huge help to one another. They're getting a lot of work in right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to do by yourself because nobody's on your schedule. With
Sure.
Ely, Plumlee's got somebody. You can go, hey, we're going at 6. We're going at 8. We're going to throw to each other. We're going to hit in the cage. We're going to do this. Yeah, no, and you go to football. Hey, I need some routes run. Let's go. Hey, go do this.
Yeah.
Let's flash it around.
I mean, Plumlee's it's going to be extra work, and he's going to have to do it. But again, we've said this before, as it pertains to getting ready for next season, for John Rice Plumlee, this summer's far more critical than the spring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I told you the only baseball restriction I would put on John Rice Plumlee is, hey, you're not going to the Cape.
Well, no.
I mean, that's it.
As soon as the baseball season's over, whether it ends in Oxford or Charlottesville or Omaha, as soon as it's over, you got to turn your attention to getting.
Yeah.
But even let's say hypothetically that Ole Miss plays in the final series in Omaha,
June 27th-ish.
Still got 2 months to work on his football technique, to work on his footwork, to go into fall camp and the start of the season as a better passer. And frankly, as it becomes obvious that he is the quarterback, he's not going to develop a cannon of an arm. What he has to do is refine some of the intermediate stuff. He's got to get better at reading. A lot of the stuff he's got to get better at is mental stuff that he can do in his free time. Coming over there, sitting down, getting better with decision making, with reading the first move of defenders, with understanding some of the things that are happening so that he becomes more comfortable as a quarterback. A lot of the stuff is not, no one's going to bring him in and turn him into someone made the Mike Vick comparison. Mike Vick had a cannon. Plumlee's never going to have an arm like that. Most guys
Few
don't.
humans don't. I mean, few humans do.
So, I don't know. You know, his development as a quarterback is going to come down to his ability to be more consistent and to use the middle of the field. Like, I was looking at a graph from Saturday from Joe Burrow's game against Ole Miss. Burrow uses the whole field. And some of that is he has a cannon. He uses the whole field. If you don't use the whole field, well, defenses start taking away things from you. That's a lot of the challenge for Rich Rodriguez. a lot of the challenge for John Rice Plumlee moving forward is he's got to be able to occasionally go there enough where you keep people honest. And then his athleticism takes over as it did in the second half. It's a funny thing about Plumlee. I'm just kind of rambling. It's a funny thing about Plumlee is that you can make a really compelling argument either way based on kind of what he's done, how it's worked.
Of course.
A big part for him moving forward.
It's why it's getting ridiculous on the message board. I mean, I love the conversation, don't get me wrong. Keep replying. But, I mean, nobody's changing anybody's mind. Nobody's really even in the middle. I feel on an island because I'm sort of in the middle. Where I go, maybe. Yeah,
I'm more in the middle today than I've ever been on it. You can't deny what he's done. Now, the one thing I think he's got to be able to do better is he's got to start games better. There is a pattern. You and I've said it all year. It's been like another loss exactly the same way. Fall behind. He takes over in the second half, and he rallies, and he rallies, and he rallies, and they come up short.
Yeah, not to do a college football playoff metric thing, but Ole Miss needs better game control. They don't control many games very long. It's they're in it. It's close. It's doable. There's a way to get a stop and a score and a stop and But you're not controlling the tempo. You're not controlling the game.
Yeah, it was 31-7 the other night.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, but Auburn, even A&M until the fumble, they were for a little while. They had a chance to go take it right there and didn't do it.
That's really the game, frankly.
Yeah,
that sticks
A&M's
out.
the problem.
Yeah.
Because even if you just beat A&M, it's there's a win. There's you beat a top half team, and now the Egg Bowl, and blah 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 blah.
They fell behind Memphis, chased them. Fell behind Cal, chased them. Fell behind Missouri, chased them. Mm-hmm. Fell behind Auburn, chased them. Fell way behind LSU, chased them. There is a pattern there.
Yeah, not getting blown out, but not able to get started.
So you got to get going offensively. He's got to become better. I think he's got to become better at the mental part of the game, which frankly is what you would expect out of a true freshman.
Yeah, Bo Nix, same thing. All of them. It's.
But when people say, but he's to do that, man, he got to give up baseball. He doesn't want to give up baseball. He doesn't want to give up baseball. Why should he give it up if he doesn't want to give it up and he doesn't have to give it up? Why?
Yeah. All right, for all of our podcast listeners, we're going to go to Andy Kennedy in 1 second. If you're in our live stream, just hang out. We'll be back with the rest of the show soon. We'll tell you about the podcast and visit oxfordms.com and check out Oxford this holiday season. Everything in the lively city from the Oxford Christmas Parade, the holiday house tours, and more. You got a concert at the Ford Center with the Midtown Men, the downtown Christmas tree lighting, the holiday ornament auction, all happening this December, as are the Visit Oxford Holiday Village, the Elf Scavenger Hunt, and more in Oxford. So take advantage of all those things on the historic Oxford Square. Visit oxfordms.com or pop up oxfordms.com.
We're now 5 weeks away from Christmas. Don't let yourself be the person that gets caught in the hustle and bustle of last-minute shopping. Our friends at Blue Delta Jeans are offering gift cards for their bespoke raw denim jeans for $100 off. It's a great way to treat your friends and family with a great Mississippi-made product for the holidays. Drop by the Oxford studio to purchase or get in touch with Blue Delta on their social media or at info@bluedeltajeans.com to have a gift card mailed to you anywhere in the world. Additionally, for our listeners in Texas, this is a great week to get fitted for Blue Delta Jeans. Blue Delta Jeans will be in Houston on Wednesday, Dallas on Thursday, and Austin on Friday. Give them a call and get fitted today. We'll have picks up on Thursday. Remind me to email Jeffrey the lines that we're going with this week. They're brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap, located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue. Southern Craft Stove and Tap places an emphasis on food and atmosphere, mixing the quality of fine dining with the come-as-you-are environment, featuring 30 craft beers and offering a high-quality selection of cuisine and libations. Southern Craft Stove and Tap has you covered for any occasion. Join them for lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch, or have your favorites catered out. Catering orders placed online currently receive $25 off any order totaling $100 or more, so avoid the chaos of parking on the square. Head over and experience carefully crafted dishes with your favorite Southern ingredients at Southern Craft Stove and Tap, Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is home to Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services. If your company's 401k is just not operating or producing the way that you wish for it to, get in touch with the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services team today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fees. It's pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. And we're brought to you by the Westin Jackson. I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow. It is brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Downtown Jackson Marriott property, home to Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson, and to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, where you can sip on a creative craft cocktail or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's offerings are fantastic. You should check them out here as we get into the holiday season at the Westin Jackson.
Podcast is brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and with rates as low as they've been in about 2 years. Good time to talk to Jason. That's 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com. Now here is Andy Kennedy.
Edwards Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You guys know how this works. If you are planning a trip, starting to think about a trip for next summer, you want it to be special, one that everyone remembers, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you give him a call, you give him an email, you give him some parameters, you give him a budget. He gives you options, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, j.edwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. The Ole Miss men's hoops team back inside the pavilion tonight at 6:30 as they host Seattle. For Batman Night, the first 500 fans will receive custom Ole Miss Batman capes. Tickets start at just $10, can be purchased at OleMissTix.com. Join the women's hoops team back in action on Craddock Court Saturday at 2 p.m. as they take on Louisiana Tech from downtown lovely Ruston. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. The Ole Miss volleyball team returns to the Gillum Center on November the 27th as they take on Missouri at 6 p.m. Admission is free. More information can be found at OleMissSports.com. And the 2019 Men's Hoops SEC Mini Plan is on sale now for just $175. Receive a ticket to all 9 SEC home games this season in the Pavilion. Visit OleMissTix.com and get your SEC Mini Plan for just $175. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. Get in touch with Gene and Sandy there at Grenada Nissan. Tell them that you heard about the dealership on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com, and you'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Looking at this story was on our message board about the recruiting bust of the last decade, all decade, the biggest bust. Several names that we covered pretty closely, including one that was a really, really big day back in summer of 2012, the day that Treadwell and Kimdichie and Derek Green were all on campus together. Derek Green, the running back that went to Michigan eventually. He was a 6.1 5-star, ranked number 8 in the country. He showed up that day with Quan and Robert. And
I remember that now.
Yeah. We built a big graphic out front. Had a big day with it. He ended up going to Michigan and being frankly a huge bust. Never did anything there
It happens
at all. It happens.
Not everybody makes it.
13 was that? Like I said, that'd have been right after Rich Rod at Michigan.
Yeah, if you say so.
I think it would be right after.
I got to do some deep thinking on that. I don't know.
Deep thinking on that
I'd have to go Wikipedia it, I think.
Byron Coward at Auburn's on the list. A lot of USC guys. They've really struggled. Max Brown, that quarterback that never panned out. George Farmer, the wide receiver that never panned out. Martez Ivey, who went to Florida. He was the number 4 national player in the country out of Apopka. Didn't do much. Ben Davis signed with Alabama. And then the last one on the list, one we definitely got some mileage out of, including a land shark on the day of the Army All-American game, Mike Juarez, the linebacker at UCLA.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did milk that thing.
We got a lot out of Mike. Mike would still make my Christmas card list if I had a contact for Mike. He
I appreciate
he's
it.
He's on the All Rebel Grove team. Mike and Chris Jones and some of those dudes throughout the years. Yeah. I mean, we're doing geolocating, talking to frat kids, all sorts of stuff with Chris Jones that weekend.
Chris Jones, yeah. Laquan.
I was just thinking of guys who didn't come here.
Didn't come. I was thinking of the guys that we sold.
Yeah, those are some of them. CC Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot out of CC.
We did get a lot of that. He said just enough to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, though. CC treated it a lot like, and it's where the national media messed up, and it's where, frankly, at the time with some former staffs, Ole Miss messed up on how they kind of handled us to get information out. He did a lot of the same things that Laramie did, where everybody goes, oh, my God, this huge thing, and he signs with Ole Miss. It's like Laramie's been mentioning Ole Miss as a top 4 school since last summer.
Well,
just, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, but it's there.
It's where, frankly, and I look back on it now, that year, because Laramie signed the same year as Laquan, right? I'm correct in saying that?
Laramie signed the same year as Laquan, yes.
Okay.
2013.
So I went to Chicago for Laquan's deal. I remember it for a number of reasons. One, my friend John Ingram, when I landed in Chicago, Laura texted me and said, call me. And my friend John Ingram had died in Spanish Fort. And also, that was the day that my birthday's in January. Mm-hmm. My license had expired. And I did not remember this.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize it. So I had to renew my license online just to board the plane in Jackson. Right. But when I got to Chicago, I didn't have a license. There was no way to rent a car. And so, and the Metro, the L doesn't run all the way to Crete-Money. So Edgy Tim.
That's right. The Illinois high school rivals guy.
Was a lifesaver. He's like, hey, I got to go anyway. I'll come get you. And I'm like, dude, I'll come to wherever you are. I mean, I'll cab, whatever. And he said, no, I'll come get you. And so he took me.
That's right.
And I remember, I can say this now, Hugh Freeze calls me. I think it's safe that it's no longer an NCAA investigation. And he goes, are you there? And I said, yeah. I said, you're getting him, right? And he goes, well, I mean, certainly think so, whatever.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, yeah, because if otherwise I'm just going to dig a hole here. And he was like, that's cool. That's awesome. And I was like, thinking to myself.
But you're getting him, right?
Yeah, yeah. But what was funny about that was then shortly thereafter, Ole Miss had a basketball game in Gainesville. And we were thinking about going. I was thinking about going.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I said, kind of reached out a little bit with, hey, y'all getting this Tunsil? Are y'all getting Tunsil? Never could get any feedback on that. Looking back, that was the mistake of them saying, yeah, not only are we getting him, because had there been
on the way to Gainesville, you would have stopped in Lake City and did the big Laramie story.
And done the big Laramie Tunsil story, where I think it would have taken some of the, not that I would have, but the fact that it would have gotten written and he was a top 10 kid, it would have probably changed the narrative a little bit. From
look, even with his freaking brother on the team, that big story on Robert still helped move things a little bit.
No doubt.
Where Beverly sat down in the coffee shop that day. Yeah,
the day before the Ole Miss Georgia game.
Right.
I called you and I said, we got to start writing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where, frankly, sometimes I don't think programs, it's not use the media, but use it as an advantage.
Don't shoot your own foot off.
Yeah, because I would have written the big, here's this Tunsil kid. I think he would have talked to me had I gone there. And obviously his high school coach would have talked, and I could have found mom and all that stuff and done this Laramie Tunsil story where I think it would have shifted some of the narrative a little bit from, oh my God, they just bought him, to no, they targeted this kid, and and frankly would have been where someone said, hey, and they also offered my brother
Yeah. Hey, here's Alex.
Where I would have been able to subtly say who's just an average football player. I mean, they're putting together a...
They also like this guy at my high school named Ed Woods.
Yeah. Yeah, it just... Anyway, that was interesting times, man. That was a fascinating couple of years before it all blew up.
Reading from our live chat for a second here. Just pull something in. Let me find this again because it kind of caught my eye a little bit. From Dub Jr. I'm nervous about JRP improving in his passing game. Matt Luke going 4-3 begin next season, resulting in extension. If he goes 4-3, you extend him. Because look what that would mean.
Think about what that means. 4-3 means that in the games with Baylor, Auburn, Alabama,
and
LSU, and Florida, you won 2 of them.
Yeah. You got 2 pelts.
Yeah. Means you're 4-3 after 7 on that schedule. I mean, you get Mississippi State at home. You got to go to A&M. You go to Arkansas. You play.
You get a couple gimmies with Connecticut and Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I mean, you're 4-3, 6, 7, but maybe even 8-4 at that point. Hell, he'd be SEC Coach of the Year contender, depending on what happened in the rest of the league. 4-3 out of the gate. Be thrilled. The question is, if you're 3-4 out of the gate and you wind up 6-6, how do you evaluate that? That's the purgatory.
Yeah, that's a spot nobody wants to be in.
If you're 7-5 or better next year, it worked. My opinion. People are free to disagree.
Did you see Shea Patterson's quote after the win over Michigan State? As we get into Neil's picks on Thursday, is Michigan, Indiana on our list?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
You get Shea, you get Tom Allen. Got a lot going on.
Got a lot going on. Got a lot going on. Yep.
Shea Patterson after the win over Michigan State. We're going to enjoy this one, but in the back of our minds, we know we got one more big one to go. We got to go on the road to Indiana, but our eyes are actually still set on the last one.
Yeah. I get warm all over.
You'd love the Hoosiers to pop that one, wouldn't you?
Oh, IU forever.
If you could pick one result this weekend, it would be Indiana over Michigan, wouldn't it? If you could, hey, Gods came down and said, Neil, you get to pick the winner in a football game this weekend. Take your pick. Is it Indiana over Michigan?
Indiana beats Michigan.
Is it?
Yeah.
That would be it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Nothing else.
I'm glad this camera's neck up, man. Yeah.
That would be the one. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else even in the stratosphere.
I'd have to stay seated for a while. Yep.
Tom Allen beats Shea and Harbaugh.
Oh. Chills all over.
I mean, seriously, that oh my gosh. I did see this morning that it's a historic line in Ohio State, Penn State this weekend. Penn State, team obviously with a lot of recognition, basically gets a lot of benefit of the doubt over the course of most seasons. 19 points in late November for a one-loss Penn State team.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, tells you what Vegas thinks.
About Ohio State more than anything else.
Yeah. It's really more about them than it is anybody else.
Yeah, the line's just huge on everyone right now.
Avery wants to know the time on that. I wrote it down. I've got it
somewhere. On what, Michigan and Indiana?
Yeah, it's a 2:30 game on ESPN.
2:30. Who's our 2:30 game? It's A&M.
Georgia.
Okay.
Nothing against A&M or Georgia. I'm sure they're both nice people. But I will be, when I drive back, I will be finding the Indiana game.
You will be listening to that?
Yes. And when I get back home, I will turn that bad boy on. I'm going to turn some of you people into Big Ten football fans before you know it. Those games are kind of like Minnesota, Iowa was entertaining as hell. It was great entertainment. PJ Fleck really may have cost his team the game by sprinting onto the field. By the way, PJ Fleck emerging as a candidate at Florida State.
Oh.
If you're PJ Fleck, do you leave Minnesota today where you are? You've turned that bad boy into, he can launch to anywhere in the Big Ten. Do you leave Minnesota to go to Florida State? I don't.
No. First blush, that sounds crazy, but no. No.
I mean, Illinois at Iowa.
Florida State as an institution kind of in chaos right now. I don't.
PJ, I think I'd stay where you are right now for a little while, bud.
We always do some NFL playoff standings on Tuesdays. We'll look at that. The Patriots and the Ravens, 9-1 and 8-2 respectively. They got the byes. As
Patriots
of right
and Ravens
now,
have buys, okay?
yeah, Patriots and Ravens have buys.
Lamar Jackson. Whew.
Ravens 1 game behind the Pats, but have the game.
Yeah.
Chiefs would host the Texans in the first round.
Okay.
Kansas City, obviously, the 3. And then Indianapolis, Buffalo is your 4-5 game as of right now.
Indy Buffalo.
Yeah. It's not sexy at all,
The
but
Bills
it's
are
sort
fun,
of entertaining.
Though. The Bills are fun.
Houston wins a tiebreaker over Oakland based on head-to-head win percentage. I don't know. Oh, they won. They beat them. Okay. That makes sense. And then Steelers and Titans, really the 2 teams still in it as well, hanging around at 5-5.
Titans feel like they have a little momentum for some reason.
They're 1 game back of the Texans and the Raiders for that last spot. The Bills are 7-3. They're in pretty good shape
they're
right
good.
now.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Have you watched them much?
Yeah, a little bit actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dawson Knox having a heck of a year.
Young team, kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knox getting balls thrown to him and stuff. It's damn.
It's weird.
Yeah. He's catching them. He's running the end zones.
Did you know that you can throw to the tight end?
Apparently, yeah, it's a thing.
He can run pass routes.
Fascinating. In the chase for the first pick, the Bengals are 0-10, 1 game ahead of the 1-9 Washington Redskins. A couple 2-win teams as well with the Dolphins and the New York Giants.
God, if you're Joe Burrow, you're like, please, anywhere but Cincinnati.
You don't want anything to do with that, do you?
And I love the town, but that organization, it just never works.
But, I mean, the Giants aren't taking a quarterback. They're going to take Chase Young. And the Redskins don't necessarily need a quarterback. So
it's true. They're invested.
yeah, it could get kind of you could start moving actually up and end up in a little better spot.
Boy, if you're the Giants and you end up with the first pick.
Now the problem is that
you really hate yourself.
I want to be careful here because obviously nobody want to get hurt. For Burrow, Tua's injury even affects him too because he's destined for that 1 quarterback spot now. He doesn't potentially get to do that fall thing where you end up in, I don't know, Miami or somewhere where it's like, okay, well, maybe
Joe Burrow would be such a fit in New York. Media savvy, good-looking kid.
But they have quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I know.
The NFC is what is incredibly fun right now. Matchups galore everywhere.
Yeah.
Just teams. As of today, let's see. The 49ers and the Packers would get the buys as of right now. The 49ers are at 9-1. The Packers are at 8-2. And
they play each other Sunday night.
Oh, they do?
Green Bay at San Francisco Sunday night.
The Packers get the tiebreaker over New Orleans right now based on win percentage and conference games. Okay. Those 2 teams do not play each other in the regular season.
Okay.
The Saints do play the 49ers in the Dome coming up fairly soon, however.
Yeah.
And then your first-round games as of today, the 3-seed New Orleans Saints at 8-2 would face the Minnesota Vikings in a repeat of the miracle up there a couple years ago.
Bring you some Pepto.
It's a bad matchup for the Saints. I don't like that game at all. I want that out of there. I think the bye is incredibly important for New Orleans for multiple reasons. I think this thing, from a playoff run standpoint, really settles on if they get the 1 or the 2 versus the 3.
So the 4-5 game would be Dallas and who?
Seattle.
Ooh.
4-5 in Dallas, Seattle and Cowboys. Dallas 6-4. Seahawks, the kind of the unlucky team here because they're in with the 49ers. They're 8-2 and be a wild card right now. So they're 2 games ahead of the Cowboys, but would have to travel to Dallas for this game.
Seattle's playing really well right now.
And then 1.5 games back of the 6th seed is the LA Rams, who are at 6-4 and just feel not scary at all right now, frankly.
Not at all.
I would be more scared if they found a way in of the 5-5 Eagles than the 6-4 Rams.
Yeah, for sure, because they can defend really well.
Yeah. Then after that, the Panthers at 5-5 feel dead in the water, and then it really falls off after that. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, if you're the 3, so probably no, it could be anybody. It could be the Packers. I mean, in theory, it could still be the 49ers if they lost to the Packers and the Saints, or the Saints. In that 3, you're going to have a first-round matchup against Minnesota, Seattle, L.A., or Philadelphia. You'd be begging for L.A.
Some really good NFL games this weekend. Have you seen them?
No, I have not.
Panthers at the Saints. Panthers kind of last stand. If they're going to do something, it has to start now. Seattle at Philly. It's a good game. Because Seattle typically, when they fly east, do not do real well. Dallas at New England. Green Bay at San Francisco. Those are good games. Those are good games.
Somebody asked on the chat if I'm going to continue to talk about the NFL if the Saints are 7-9. Yes, that's my comfort zone. I'm used to the Saints being 7-9, 8-8. That's nice, little mediocre. They don't suck much, not really good. And these last 12 years have been completely out of my comfort zone. I'm not used to this. This is different. So.
I should have jumped on the Saints when I was a little kid. It'd be fun now.
In hindsight, that would have been.
I liked them. They came on. I always hesitate to say this because I can't even imagine how it gets put on the Mississippi State message boards. When I was a kid, so growing up as a little boy, if I was a college fan of anybody, I was an Alabama fan. Both of my parents have degrees from Alabama. But I liked Archie Manning, and so my football jersey was number 8 because he was 8 with the Saints when I was a little boy. So that will be turned into a lifelong Ole Miss fan.
This is more for our live streamers. What is your hat?
Tottenham Hotspur. It's a soccer team.
English I got that.
That's who I cheer for. My team. Been a lifelong fan.
So you bought a hat?
No. Sam.
Was that gift? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He sent a Tottenham hat to me, and he sent a Chelsea scarf to Carson. Okay. Carson's very appreciative.
I do like the logo.
That's a great logo.
It's a really good minor league baseball logo. It's kind of.
It's really good. I like English Premier League a little bit.
You commented on this yesterday. Brewers' new duds are sharp.
Yeah.
They are good looking. They're not doing anything stupid. They stayed with the great glove MB logo. Let's not mess up what we have.
Well, they got away from the M logo with the grain.
Yeah, the barley or whatever it is.
Whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Where I could make fun of that.
This is good.
It's tough to make fun of. God, I want
the appropriate number of uniforms. You get an alternate home, alternate road. I'm not a big. It's so dumb because every team should have this. I like that on your road grays you have the city name, not the mascot name or the nickname. I like Milwaukee across the gray instead of Brewers for whatever reason.
I do too.
Just something about that I like. The navies are good.
The navy is good.
The home cream. Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
That's a really good one.
Having a hard time.
You wanted to bash it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
You wanted to be a jerk.
I wanted to say those are atrocious.
And
they're not. I love the Cubs home uni, the white.
Yeah.
The white with the blue pinstripe and the Cub. It's iconic. I would love for the Cubs to have a alternate uniform, mainly for the road. I don't dislike the navy blue jersey. In fact, I kind of like it as an alternate jersey. I'm not crazy about their road uniform. It's just so plain with just the Chicago and gray. The uni that I wish they would go back to more is the powder blue with the navy blue pinstripes.
Yeah,
it's a great look. I think it would be a perfect road uniform.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. See if there's any basketball headlines. Oh, look, Will Wade got a 5-star recruit. I'm blown away.
How you do that?
Dang it.
Unbelievable. Little engine that could.
If you get a chance to play at the PMAC, you got to go play at the PMAC.
You walk into that place and you think history,
aura,
tradition.
It's like a big light just shines down on you when you're there. It's almost like there's a rainbow.
It's like the basketball gods just stare right in.
Not a conversation topic over there, though. Nobody wants. Hey.
I mean, come on.
It's our guy. He's probably escaped it.
It appears to be the case.
I read it most days or most weeks because it cracks me up. Gary Parrish with his polls attack, looking at guys who have stupid college basketball top 25s. So Tennessee goes on the road, beats Washington, or neutral site, beats Washington by double digits. No, sorry, by more than 20.
Okay.
Washington was ranked 20th. Tennessee was not ranked. Dick Vitale ranked Tennessee, but moved Washington up 6 spots. And then some dude is just not even paying attention. For the second week in a row, he doesn't realize who's beaten or whatever. So he doesn't rank Tennessee, moves Washington up, and this adds more people. I mean, the number of, like, everybody gets all worried about rankings. Be aware that some people don't pay attention whatsoever.
But I think what's very important is that the Associated Press just uses legitimate journalists for their polls. Don't as long as you avoid guys like us.
Don't mess up the integrity of the poll.
Yeah, don't do it with people like me or you who, because we're such fans that we can't possibly be objective. Can't do it. I try every week in 10 Thoughts to here's what my ballot would look like, and every week there's ULM at number 1. I mean, I just can't stop. So thank God that the brave media police at the Associated Press are controlling that.
The media police.
It's important. Remember that David was going to make me an AP voter, and in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And the people in New York were like, no, nope, can't do it.
Yeah. Appreciate Andy for his time today. Always good to talk to him. So hope you guys enjoyed that portion of the show. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Ole Miss again, Seattle tonight from the Pavilion, 6:30 tip for that one. So we'll have coverage of that at rebelgrove.com, and we will talk to you then. Take care.